Well, okay. So listen, if I may, this procedure that I've done with the drywall stuff, let me encourage you to go to Dave's World of Fun Stuff and look for a video called Grain Filling a Guitar, in which he does this procedure, well, I'm just going to call it better. Clearly, I don't know what I'm doing, but this is how we learn. So one of the things, I actually watched the video while I was letting this dry a minute of Dave doing this, and the step that I missed, one, he put a much thinner coat on than this. Two, after he had a thin coat on it, he immediately wiped it all off with a paper towel, pushing, so he had brushed the drywall filler into the grain, and then with the paper towel he went over it, and that pushed it further into the grain. And he said in the video that I just watched that if you let it dry and harden, you're going to have a lot of sanding to do, which clearly I have. So because I can't hold a camera and sand, and my dog is curious, I will be back in a moment. Let me hit this with some sandpaper and we'll see what happens. Okay, so after some sanding with up to 400 grits, I have a smooth surface, even though I used way too much, and I did have to use some elbow grease. And it's ugly. I got all kind of stuff on the side. Look, I'm just, you know, man, I got a whole section here that I went hard in the paint. Don't worry about this. I got to bore those holes out anyway. It's a long story. But all that to say, I don't know, what rag is kind of wet. It's probably not a good plan. I kind of messed it up. Now you really can't see it as much. Well, I guess you could. Forgive my wet rag. So you can kind of see here, remember before when this was porous, I was talking about how it was porous, but it's smooth, but that drywall filler has filled in the pores, and I've got a smooth surface, which is what I wanted. So we're not doing any kind of like just satin or stain type thing, or any of this. I don't want any, none of this wood grain is going to show, or any of that. I just want a smooth surface. We're going to do a solid burnt orange color. So yeah, man, it's late here. Everything is bigger in Texas, including the mosquitoes. So I'm gonna wrap it up for tonight. Maybe do some more tomorrow night. But yeah, just wanted to give everybody the update that it does work, at least in my estimation. And I've got a smooth surface, which is what I wanted. The pores are filled with the filler, and I guess time will tell when I do my first coat of I've got Rust-Oleum primer paint, spray paint, burnt orange, and so maybe when I spray that, well, I probably should video it. I mean, we're doing this for prosperity, aren't we? And evidence. Well, hey man, these big old Texas mosquitoes eating me alive, man. I can't deal with that, Jack. So, hey man, wherever you are, in your guitar journey, pray it's a long, safe, smooth ride for you, man. Rock on with your bad self, and as always, I'll catch you down the road. Okay, last video of the night. So when I look at this, not through the camera, but just naked eye, got my spotlight on it, it looks dry and smooth. However, I was talking to my buddy Torsten over at Tease Guitars, and we were just chatting about stuff, and I sent him a picture. He said, "Man, you got a lot of work to do." I said, "Oh man." So I looked at the picture I sent him, and it maybe my video camera is catching it too. I don't know. It doesn't look as like any at all satiny in what I'm seeing through the camera as I'm filming this. However, this right here does. So however, with the naked eye, if I do kind of tilt my head a little bit, I see in the green, I see filler, sure, but then I see, I don't know if you guys can see that, you probably can, like little sparkles in some of the green. So that leads me to believe that I have only just begun to sand. So the light was a good call. I didn't have the light out here with me before. It was a little bit lighter outside. Now it's pitch black. So I don't think you could see that, but I've got some satin specks that I can see if I'm really close. So yeah, I guess that's a tomorrow thing now, given the hour. But yeah, I guess guys, I'm just getting started sanding. So if you want to put in the comment, you know, what grit of sandpaper I should tackle this with at this point, given that this satiny stuff is still in the pores, I would take suggestions. And yeah, man, nothing I do is prescriptive. This is a learning experience for me, and so please don't even pretend to think that I think I'm an expert. I am not. I am just, this is how I learn. I learn by doing. I learn by making mistakes, and then I learn by asking people that I trust. And so a lot of you who are regulars on the channel, I trust your opinion, love to hear from you. I'm not giving up at all. I'm not discouraged at all. It's a learning experience. But it looks like, you know, from back here it looks pretty good, but when you get kind of here, you could just see a little bit of the colorization and a little bit of the shine, but not like you can see it in a still photograph or like this. I see little specks, and I kind of have to tilt my head to see it. So I'm gonna, maybe you can see a little bit of sparkle in there, maybe not. Well, anyway, my friends, Ted talks guitars and life, where the fun never ends. Hey, feel free to seriously drop something in the comments if you've got a rec for me. I'm gonna have to get some more sandpaper, and so I've been using 320, and then I went up to 400, and so maybe I need a more aggressive sandpaper, or maybe I was talking to J-Man earlier today about this project in general, and he mentioned maybe an orbital sander, because we had the idea, he had the idea, I didn't have it, it wasn't we, it was all you, J-Man, but he had the idea that if I wanted to take some weight off this, if I had an orbital sander, I could do a tummy cut, and I could do an arm cut here. That would take some weight off. So yeah, the front is super ugly. I haven't really done anything to it, except an initial 320, 400. But so yeah, man, that's where we are in the journey so far. And if you like this kind of thing, man, like the video, subscribe, hang out with us here on the channel. But yeah, man, drop in the comments. I'm open. I'm even open to you saying, dude, stop. You don't know what you're doing. Which I'm not going to do. I'm going to learn how to do this. And then I'm going to record everything that I do in the small hope that in even my mistakes, there is something to be learned from my mistakes. And I'm glad to share this journey with you. So, man, wherever you are in your journey, rock on with your bad selves, and I'll catch you down the road. Well, welcome back to another episode of Ted Talks Guitars and Life. Super early morning after video. So I just want to give two quick updates before I start my day and get into normal activities. One, I want to give a quick update on the tuner situation. So this Fesley Deluxe Edition Telecaster had these really inexpensive tuners, and you could just tell, man, even just they're just wobbly and wonky and all of that. So I decided for my grandson's purposes that I needed to upgrade. So, and these are the kind that have well, I can't wow, super early edition of Ted Talks Guitars and Life, where maybe we should wake up before we hit record, like that. And so it goes in the, obviously the only hole it can go in, and it has this little mechanism right here for the screw, this little hole. Okay, so laying around the shop, I happen to have some Musicali, and again, not a sponsored Musicali, however it is you do that, at advertisement. There's no affiliate link or anything like that. It's just one guy talking about a journey. So I had some of these laying around the shop. So these are locking tuners, and they're kind of vintagey. They're kind of cool, man. They've got that kind of, I don't really like that. I prefer chrome, but I think it looked pretty cool. I had them on a Relic for a while and took them out. Anyway, this style tuner, though, does not have a ferrule device. So there's no, like, put it in the hole and screw kind of a situation. So it has different placement for the screws. So two things. One is on the back of the guitar, there are holes for the original tuners. So if I slide this in, you'll see that you can still make out that there was a hole there. So two thoughts. One is I could fill these holes. This is going to be with some kind of wood glue. Shout out to Two Bike Mike. Bamboo toothpick, whatever it is, whatever toothpicks you use. Miniature rods, basically, is what we're talking about, or dowels. So I think I'm gonna go with these. And also, why are we talking about tuners? We're in the middle of a refinishing playlist. Well, I need a break from the insanity. Anyway, so I had purchased these DoPro ferrules. These are 10mm ferrules. I'm going to say they were $8 some time ago for another project. And so they fit. However, it was snug. Thus, I bought a new tool. I bought a rubber hammer, which I needed to seat these really well. So anyway, update on the tuners. That's the situation. I may or may not fill these holes, but yeah, I'm probably going to fill those holes. Okay, so going to go with Music Lily locking tuners eventually. Now for the fun stuff. So this is where we are the morning after. Now, there's a couple of things about this. So I made a series of vids late last evening. And in those vids, I did my best to demonstrate. It may have been a cautionary tale on a lot of things not to do. But one of the things about this particular part of the project is that, one, I did determine after talking to a couple of people, even very late evening situations, that I hadn't sanded enough. So I then proceeded to sand the daylights out of this thing into the wee hours of the morning. My wife is like, who is this guy that stays up so late? I used to say, bet it's 9 o'clock, I'm hitting the hay, man. Now I'm like, it's only 9 o'clock, I'm just getting started. Anyway, so one of the challenges with it was, and maybe still is, I don't know, but there are 2 slabs of board here. And this is supposed to be poplar wood. And I mentioned I had a friend who works on woodworking. Because see, here's my challenge. I think you can kind of see that in the video. Do you see how this side is like dull and it is smooth? Now I'm probably going to do the filler thing again just to make sure I don't have any grain, because my understanding is that's important, because when you paint, if you have grain or if you have any kind of pores, then that paint, it's going to show up, even if it's a solid color. Now, I don't know that to be true. I've never done it. I'm just listening to people who I think know what they're talking about. But I tell you what, we're going to find out for ourselves, ain't we? That's because that's the way we learn, right? So, but here's the thing. So this side, smooth, looks drier. This side, I don't know if you could see it. Yeah, there you go. You see the shininess of that board? So my thinking, this is what I was trying to determine last night. You see the shininess? Okay. If that shininess is stain that remains, I got to get that off, because the paint is not going to adhere. This is my understanding. If you have a different opinion, different experience, guess what? Drop it in the comments. Love to have your thoughts. I mean that sincerely. So, but because this looks shiny, what I'm trying to determine, and you can only see it in certain light, right? So I had a conversation with one of my woodworking friends, and I said, okay, is it possible to have 2 pieces of poplar and one board look shiny in the raw and one board not? And he said, well, it depends on the part of the tree that they cut the piece from, and lots of other things that I didn't quite understand about wood. End of the day, what I'm trying to ascertain this morning is is this shiny because this particular board is from a particular part of the tree? Or is it shiny because I've still got stains somehow on this side of the board? I don't know if that makes any sense at all. I did do the front. I ran out of sandpaper. I really underestimated how much sandpaper I would need for this project. And I did not buy the sander yet. I still may. This is all a lot of elbow grease and sandpaper, and maybe not enough elbow grease. So you see I've still got areas on this side. So you've got the same board, right? So you've got the line. Well, on this side the line is here, and you could tell, maybe, yeah, there you go. You see how this side, this is a shinier board than this? Or this is a board that took the stain or the satin. Forgive me, it's early. I don't know if I'm using proper terminology, and if that's not helpful, I apologize. Just one guy's journey, right? So it has the same shine to it. So does that mean that this board took the stain differently than this board? Or is this board actually sanded down exactly where it needs to be sanded down to receive paint, but based on the slab, based on that particular board, it just looks different in the raw? So the sides are really ugly. Again, I ran out of sandpaper, and I know, look, I'm not worried about the edges being, you know, sharp or rounded or whatever. This is going to be in the Louvre one day. No, my grandson's going to love it, man. He's going to dig it. It doesn't matter what it looks like. But I want it to be excellent, man. I want it to be a burnt orange rock and roll machine. And it will be if I can help it. So another fun fact. So I live in Texas, and we have feast or famine as it comes to rain. Usually we have a lot of dry heat kind of stuff. Well, with the changing of the seasons, and I was actually doing my scripture reading this morning, way before guitars comes scripture for me. And I was reading 1 Kings 17. It tells the story of Elijah and a period where he prayed and it didn't rain, you know, for, I think it was a couple years. And yeah, and then it started raining. So it started raining this morning, and it's supposed to rain for the next 3 days. So I'm either going to have to work from inside the garage or wait for the rains to end to go back outside. However, all that to say, I have more sandpaper on the way. I am still considering a sanding device, maybe an orbital sander. So if you have thoughts, if you have comments, if you just want to say, hey, dude, have a great day, man, put it in the comments. As always, if you like this kind of content and like the video, subscribe to the channel. Love to have you hang out with us as I learn and as I share with you my learning experience. And I just hope more than anything else, man, that this little learning journey of mine is somehow helpful for any of you who are out there watching. And if it is, I'd love to hear that from you, just so that I can appreciate the time that I spend uploading things. Don't do a lot of editing, but I am piecing videos together, so I'm slowly learning the ropes. Well, hey, I got to start my journey on my day, wherever you are in your journey, your guitar journey. I pray it's a long, safe, smooth, joy-filled ride for you. Rock on with your bad selves, and as always, I'll catch you down the road.